When my children started participating in band classes, we trusted Gadsden Music with everything the kids needed. They provide high-quality instruments at great prices. They service the instruments and make the rental process super easy.
All right, guys, we are here at West End High School at stop number 4 on the Gadsden Music Company Average Joe Sports Talk Band Tour this year for 2022. We are here with a legend, and I'm going to let this young man introduce himself.
A legend in your own mind, Reggie. John Powell, band director here at West End. This is actually my 11th year teaching. Took a little detour in life. Was in full-time ministry for 15 years. After stops at Etowah, West End, and Sardis. So dadgummit, if I wouldn't have taken that detour, I could have retired this year. But I'm blessed to be back here at West End High School.
Okay. Coach Powell, not Coach. Well, I guess I can call you
yeah.
Coach Powell. I'm used to interviewing coaches, but we'll get to that part in a minute. But Mr. Powell, if many people don't know, he was the band director at Etowah back, as he said, when I was in high school. So we were rivals, but we're also friends, first and foremost. So kind of just take us on the path to where we are now in your career.
Okay. Actually, finished up at Jack State in '97. Did my student teaching at Etowah High School with Ben Connor and Sid Brown. Two fine fellas and two excellent musicians and band directors. And when Ben decided to leave Etowah, they asked me to be their band director. And I was there for 4 years, from '97 to 2001. We grew the band up to close to 100 members that last year. And always made ones. They were always successful. Yeah. And we were always blessed there. Had a good group of kids, and it was a good time. But there came a point in time in 2001 that we realized, it's time for a change. We need to do something a little bit different. And Terry Foshee, who was the principal out here at West End at the time, he gave me a call while we were on summer vacation. Because I had resigned in April, finished out the year there at Etowah, and was just sort of going on a wing and a prayer, not knowing where we'd end up. Yeah. And then West End came open, and Mr. Foshee called me, and then we interviewed. And lo and behold, he called me back a couple of days, said, "Job's yours if you want it." Well, Reggie, I tell you what, when I walked in the door after having 90 plus kids at Etowah, we had roughly, that first year we had 14 horns and drums and 18 flags.
Wow. Kevin
Hyde, you remember old Cue Ball from Etowah, who was drum major for years. He and I worked the camp here the first year. And when we heard the first B-flat scale, we both cried because it was rough.
Wow.
It was rough. But I've never had a group of kids work so hard in their life. And from that moment in 2001 until when I left to go to Sardis in 2005, the program grew from 14 instruments to around 45.
Wow.
We had major league growth. We had a great elementary program, great administration that was supportive of the band. That makes all the difference in the world. And then, 2005, I transferred to Sardis. That's home. That's that. Those were some good times. We had some good kids. Yeah. Made ones everywhere we went. Took them to state contests 2 years in a row. They did exceptionally well there. And then at the end of that school year, in 06-07, really sensed that the Lord was calling us into full-time ministry and as a pastor, because I was pastoring at that time at a church in Claysville. I'd been down there for 2 years, and then God opened the door to be pastor at Black Creek on top of Lookout Mountain there in Collinsville off Tabor Road. Yeah. If you've ever been on the yard sale tour, you know where that's at. And we were blessed to be there 4 years with them till 2011. And then life gave us a detour, literally. Took a church in Tuscaloosa. They called us, voted on us on April 4th, 2011.
Okay.
Now, when you think of 2011 in Tuscaloosa, I told my wife, the night before. We stayed at the Hampton Inn there, right next to Baumhauer's Wings, there off of McFarland.
Okay.
That's where the church had put us up. Little did we know that the NCAA championships for decathlon were in Tuscaloosa that weekend too. So we had the national champions next to our room, so we didn't sleep.
Wow.
But that night I told her, there is no way they're going to give us a 100% vote. If it's not a 100% vote, we're not going.
Right.
Preached a rough sermon that morning on them, and lo and behold, if it wasn't a stinking 100% vote.
Oh.
So that was April the 4th. The first tornado went through April the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
That got a couple of our church members' homes, caused some damage. And then on April the 27th, the major tornado that went through Tuscaloosa, the F4, I still say it's F5 damage.
Mm-hmm.
About an eighth of a mile from the church. It did get part of the cemetery, and it did cause structural damage to the church.
Wow.
So when we stepped on the job in Tuscaloosa,
you had a lot going on.
You ain't lying, son. It was a challenge. We had Salvation Army truck parked in our parking lot up until around June or July that year.
Wow.
Just trying to minister to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ultimate curveball of all. On November the 15th of 2011, we had still not found housing in Tuscaloosa. We were driving back and forth from Boaz. I had a massive heart attack and died on the table at Marshall South. Gone for about 2 minutes. They say they had to shock me back, got me back, and then immediately got me to Huntsville. But life at that point changed radically.
Oh, yeah.
So from that moment forward, yes, I pastored another church, and that went great. But I've sort of skipped around a little bit from being a chaplain for 2 different hospice organizations, and here recently working retail at Belk and Gunnersville. I recommend that for anybody. You need to learn how to work retail because you learn how to deal with people.
Yes, I agree with that.
So I really feel that the good Lord opened this door up here at West End. I had known Coach Daughtry, of course, through the years in his coaching career, especially at Southside his last few years, and the job that he had done there. But my familiarity with the program and this community, I thought, this might be something we want to look into.
Right.
And I called him, and he called me, and we interviewed, and then so the story goes.
We're here.
We're here.
We're here today.
And, it's been a blessing. Cherie Towns was here and still is. She's one of our 7th and 8th grade English teachers here. Miss Towns did a wonderful job as band director here. I believe 11 or 12 years. She served the community very well in this position, and the kids well as well. And the band did exceptionally well. The last 3 years, of course, March of 2020, when all heck broke loose, everything turned into a challenge, and especially for this program. Right. I mean, when you're at a small school and then you have kids go out on virtual and this, that, and the other, it affects the band.
Yep, that's right.
So last year, they had around 11 kids in the band, and that's instruments, color guard, whole 9 yards. It was a struggle, and so when I walked in the door, we had right around 26, and that's where we're sitting right now with 26 kids this year.
Wow, man, what a story! What a story! What a start! So I got to watch you guys practice today, and my first comment to you were, you've got a great group of kids on your hands, and these guys work really hard. Talk to us about the kids and the transition from Miss Towns and you coming in, how that transition is going for you.
The transition has worked out beautifully. Miss Towns and I worked together once the hiring was announced on May the 3rd. We worked together to set up meetings and this, that, and the other. And she even set up the welcome meeting.
Right.
And she was here for it. The kids were here. The transition has been seamless.
Okay.
Now, of course, everybody's leadership style is different. And of course, mine is different.
Right.
Now 48, blind and crazy. But, I told the kids, everybody's into these hashtags these days.
Yeah.
In the first rehearsal we had on July 19th, I put 2 words on the board. hashtag opportunity, and hashtag improve each day.
Mm-hmm.
The opportunity is this for these kids. It's been since 2018 since they've been to a festival,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be MPA or marching.
Mm-hmm.
I said, this is our opportunity
Yeah.
to start the rebuilding process and go.
Right.
But I challenged them. I said, listen, I don't just want to go to a marching festival. I want us to be successful
Exactly.
at a marching festival.
Exactly.
You know, and what is success for this group this year? I think the sky's the limit for these kids. It's all according to what they want to do and how they want to do it. Do I believe that they can receive a superior rating and achieve one? I surely do.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the ball is in their court, and it's also in my court to put them in a position to where they can attain success.
Right. Right.
So we have that opportunity. They have the opportunity to represent this community and bring pride back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when the community saw numbers going down, they were frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they didn't talk very favorably about the band. But last Friday night, it was our first home game against Susan Moore. And I'm good friends with Skylar Mackin, who's director at Susan Moore. And he wrote our drill. It's always a trade out each year with us. I write his show, I write his music. He always writes my drill.
Okay.
So it's a good trade out.
Yeah.
But the community was just in awe. They were like, number one, we can hear the band, and number two, it's quality.
Right.
So they were happy, and of course that made me happy. And the kids, Reggie, when we got back in the stands after the show, before they took their third quarter break, the pride, the look of success on their face, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
And I looked at him, I said, I don't have to say a word, do I?
No.
Call him to attention, loudest pride you ever heard in your life.
Yeah.
I said, go enjoy third quarter.
Yeah. I know as a director that has that feeling and seeing that had to just come all over you. I mean, I know.
Oh, absolutely. That's when the light turned on.
Yeah.
And these kids, just tremendous kids. I mean, I've got good student leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Abby Self, she's my drum major. She's my senior drum major. Tremendous leader. She's a tremendous musician. Not only is she a percussionist who will be auditioning once again for All-State this year, but she's also a pretty good euphonium player.
Wow.
So very talented young lady. Tremendous leader. The kids really respect Abby, and it's in reciprocal. She really respects the kids back.
Good.
And that makes a big difference.
It does. It does.
Addison Davis is our band captain. She's also a member of the color guard. She's a senior, and Addison is probably one of the more positive individuals that you'll ever see in the world. That's her spiritual gift, is positivity.
Right.
And so she oozes of positivity, and she exhibits that to the kids on a daily basis. Of course, Nick Salas, or Nick Salas, he is our senior trumpet player. Nick's been around from 7th grade up, and he's gone from various instruments to where he's at now.
Oh, wow.
But Nick is a fine young man, does a great job for us as assistant drum major. You know, a lot of times he'll handle the drill downs and things like that.
Yeah.
As assistant drum major, and that he has a good time with that. I think he just enjoys torturing the kids.
Probably.
Yeah,
Probably.
Just what trumpet players are. But he does a wonderful job, and also serves as our brass captain. And he's got a young group, got a very young group.
Right.
And they do an exceptional job. Annabelle Jones, she's our 10th grade woodwind captain. She's our clarinet player. Love Annabelle. She's a tremendous leader, and I love the leadership skills that young'un has. Just a tremendous young lady. Okay. And then Ellen Smith, she is our color guard captain, 10th grader. She's a good musician, but also she's very good at what she does. And then last but not least, Emily Dodge is our percussion captain. She also plays marimba. She can do a little bit of everything in percussion. So these are very talented kids. I've been blessed to inherit them. I've got 10 kids started at the elementary school and beginning band. So that's going to help replace the 3 seniors that we lose.
Exactly.
And have 5 or 6 kids here in the high school that are ready to hop right back in and get involved.
And that is awesome. That I know. Again, that's got to make you feel good on the inside, knowing you've got such a hardworking group, and just the minute I got here, I could tell they were great kids, and that makes your job a lot easier.
It makes it a whole lot easier. I told them the first day, I said, listen, respect runs both ways. I said, kids, you need to know something. I respect you.
Right.
I believe in you. I care about you. I love you. You are my kids now, and I will take care of you. Yeah. And from that moment, you know, I've got their back. They've got my back. Right. And we work well together.
Good deal. So let's talk about your show this year. Like I said, I got to watch a little bit of it, and you told me off camera what you guys had going on. So talk to us about this year's show.
Sure. This year we're doing something that just sort of hit me right before we got down here. We've entitled the show "The Journey of Life," and as I look back on my life and the journey that I've been on over the past 25 years or so, music ministry, and now back to music. It's been a journey, and it just sort of started matriculating in my mind exactly how to put this together and how to put it on the field. So immediately you consider, it's a circle. Life is a circle.
Circle, yeah.
So, okay, first song right off the gate, Circle of Life.
Yep.
And then, a part of this circle is, we start out as a child. So, go right into a childhood medley of some tunes such as, of course, Circle of Life, Zippity Doo Dah, Friend Like Me, and Supercalifragilistic. So that's our childhood. But we do grow out of being a child, and we go into those teenage rebellious years, and then start really discovering who we are. So the second movement of the show is Skinner's Freebird, and then we go into Rascal Flatts' Life is a Highway. And the kids, they fell in love with that from the beginning. I keep waiting for either cell phones to go up in the stadium or cigarette lighters to light up during Freebird. So you never know.
Well, now that you've said it on camera,
it'll probably
be out there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
And then we're closing this year. Of course, we have childhood. We're growing up. But as we become adults, there are good times and there are oftentimes bad times. Yeah. There are troubled times. And, we live in a troubled society today. So we're using a little bit of Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. And kids do a really nice job with that. And then after that, we do have trouble in life. But, you can't quit. You cannot give up.
Right.
So we're going to end up with Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
The journey. So the kids have fallen in love with the show. Our community loves the show. It amazes me. We have football players who want the band shirt. So it's a good mix out here, and so it's been good.
That is awesome. West End is a very special place. Always has been, and I'm like I've told you a million times since we've been talking. I'm glad to see you back in the game, back teaching. So I have another place to come hang out.
That's right.
And
sure do.
But man, I appreciate you sitting in with us and inviting Average Joes to come in and hang out with you guys for a day. I appreciate you letting me speak to the kids.
Absolutely.
I wasn't expecting that, but like your hashtag said, improve each day, and that is a message I did tell the kids when I talk to them.
Right.
Is get better every day and have fun.
That's it.
So I thank you again. Glad to see you back.
Man, good to be back, Reg. Come back out here anytime. The Grove is always welcome.
All right. And thank you to Gadsden Music Company for sponsoring our 2022 band tour. And we will see you guys at our next stop.